Seeing more and more diversity in film and TV is great, though for me it's really important as to then how these people are represented. You know, you could have a black-led film, but if all the characters are criminals, well then that's just negative representation, and the diversity, frankly for me, is void. How people are represented in film and TV greatly influences how we see that group of people in real life, be it a conscious thought or unconscious. It's still an influence. In this video, I'll be taking a look at 5 film and TV tropes that will help us to understand how black people are represented and hopefully allow us to unlock any unconscious biases we may have. Let's dive in. So before we delve into these 5 tropes, let's understand that for them to be tropes in the first place, there has to be common representation of a certain type for it to fall under these kind of banners. And these widespread forms of representation are being ingrained to our psyche every time we sit down and watch a film or TV show just for a bit of escapism. So let's begin with trope number 1, the scary black man. The scary black man is usually a tall, black or brown skinned character whose only input into the film is to be scary. They can usually fall into the frames of the proud warrior race guy or the gentle giant. Either way, they're there to be scary and that's kind of it. They don't usually have their own storyline, and if they do, sometimes that can still be about fear and intimidation. These characters, being black or brown, reinforce the stereotype that tall, big, muscular or round black guys are scary and you should fear them. And that's not great representation. Trope number 2 is the black dude dies first. Horror films of the 80s were cited as the worst offenders of this trope. Basically, they'd introduce a black character into the film to give the film a more real-world feel to it, but that character would be expendable in order for the white hero to still be the hero. Now, it is a trope that has been continuously exposed in film and TV, but it does reinforce the idea that black lives are more expendable, and therefore we should put them in the forefront whenever there's a mad, crazy serial killer on the loose. Trope number 3 is the black best friend. So the black best friend is a black character who doesn't have their own storyline. In fact, everything they do is in support of the white lead. Again, a character type introduced to give the film a more real-world feel, but still allow the white person to be the lead and the hero. And they usually fit some stereotypes, being either sassy, cool, or both. And what this does is it reinforces black people as secondaries. They are never to be more important than the white primary. Trope number 4 is the sassy black woman. So I learned that this trope was actually built out of the civil rights movement, and it was a way for film and TV to give black women a voice within the civil rights movement, but only if they were loud, sassy, had attitude to show, girl, we ain't oppressed. There's usually no nuance to this character. They don't have any feelings or thoughts about anything else. They have no real individual storylines, and it will commonly cross over with the black best friend trope. And again, this trope reinforces the idea that black women are only full of attitude and sass, and they're angry and mad and sarcastic all the time, as if they aren't human beings and have other emotions and feelings. Trope number 5 is the magical Negro. Now, this is a trope that I learned recently, and as soon as I heard it and the definition of it was explained, I was immediately struck with how many examples came flooding to my mind. So the magical or mystical Negro is yet another stock black character who is there in support of the white lead, and they will turn up into a film with either the right solution or a mystical power that saves or absolves the white protagonist. Again, they have no storyline of their own. The best way I can kind of identify this trope more to you, and this is how I've learned it, is to give you examples of characters in films. So example number 1, Morgan Freeman. In about every film he is ever in. It fits with his character in the Lego movie. It fits with him being God in Bruce Almighty, where he has literal mystical powers. And it also fits with him being Lucius Fox in Batman Begins, up until the end of the film though, when he is promoted to CEO by Bruce. There it rectifies the trope. Other examples include Naomi Harris's Tia Dalma in Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, though this again is rectified in At World's End, when she is seen to have a love story with Davy Jones, and that she is Calypso wanting to be released to spite the pirate lords. We have Rafiki in the original animated The Lion King. Even though the film is set in Africa, Rafiki is the only character depicted as African, therefore he is the black supporting character and he has the solution at the right moment for Simba, so he is a Magical Negro character as well. Then we have both Morpheus and the Oracle in the first Matrix film, though as the films go on, Morpheus does develop onto his own path and own storyline and has his own wants and needs outside of that to supporting Neo. And my final example is Jimon Honshu in both The Gladiator and Shazam. What this trope does is it continues the tokenization of black characters, placing them in a support role only of that to the white lead. But guess what? Bonus trope. Now, this isn't actually really a trope, this is more just offensive, but I kind of wanted to address it anyway. Blackface. Now look, yeah, before we kind of get into this, blackface is being done less and less these days. In fact, it's not really a thing anymore, and the most recent ones available, the actors who perform those roles are coming out and beginning to apologise for the offence they may have caused doing it. The blackface is used by a white actor to play a black character so that they can highlight the negative aspects of black people for comedic purposes. It's always grotesque, and it's always stereotypical. And before anyone mentions white chicks in the comments section, just know that they are black characters, not actors, disguising themselves as white women to be in support of the white women. The jokes are never about them white-facing. In fact, the humour comes from them acting as themselves while disguised as different people. The jokes are actually about shopping and being filthy rich, and actually, as far as I remember, there's a lot more misogyny in that film that you really should probably be arguing about rather than something that isn't even a thing. So all in all, the next time you sit down to watch a film, TV show, play a video game, if there's a black character, think, do they fit into one of these tropes? Is there maybe a different trope they fit into? I've only cited 6 here, there are many more. And it's not just black people that are dogged down by these representative tropes. Also Hispanic people, Asian people as well, even Germans for goodness sake. But when you're watching, have a look at these stereotypes and think, do they influence your perception of groups of people in real life, be it conscious or unconscious? It's in there somewhere, I promise. That's why representation in the media is important. Thank you very much for checking out this video. If you like all things diversity in film and TV, you want to talk more, make sure you hit that subscribe button, drop a like on this video, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Hakuna MaChatter.